You see money. It's inside.
Within almost every major industry, you see a critical bridge between the companies who manufacture new and innovative products and the people who use and implement them. For example, designers of cutting-edge ERP systems have an abundance of IT technicians who educate and update companies on new software. Suppliers of heavy farming equipment have representatives who show off up-and-coming models at industry trade shows. But when it comes to your health and well-being, who makes sure that your healthcare practitioner has what he or she needs in order to ensure that you are receiving the best that pharmaceutical science has to offer? Well, this is where the pharmaceutical sales representative, or the PSR, comes into play. The PSR has, for many years, been the critical link between the fast-paced and ever-changing world of pharmaceuticals and the healthcare providers that you trust. But just as the healthcare landscape has morphed and developed in recent years, so too has the important role of the PSR. In a time where extravagant dinners and big pharma-funded trips are a thing of the past, PSRs must find alternative ways of achieving the goal that has remained unchanged. And that's to provide the most relevant and current information to physicians and healthcare practitioners to allow them to provide the best care possible.
Much has always been required of the modern-day PSR. They must always exhibit extremely strong presentation skills, they must be able to tactfully use the technology at hand, they must have a fluency in the science involved with their drugs, and they must have the ability to build rapport and establish strong relationship outside of the office hours. But in order to be a truly effective and cutting-edge PSR in today's time, current theory and research suggests that responding to an overwhelming demand from HCPs for a diverse scheme of promotional outreach is essential. Recent studies indicate that not only 80% of practicing physicians now use smartphones or computers or tablets in their daily practice, but that physicians were 35% more likely to request brand samples after a rep presented with an iPad, and they were 29% more likely to prescribe the brand after an iPad presentation. Thankfully, PSRs can leverage both the advances in technology and in trends in healthcare landscape to help aid in perfecting the art of brand detailing. One of these methods is through e-detailing. E-detailing, or the method of using electronic interactive media to facilitate sales presentations to physicians, is one of the core industry's new commercial approaches. As office visits are becoming more and more rare in this industry, PSRs must use whichever method is available to convey the information in an effective and tailored manner.
When it comes to the selling process of pharmaceutical products, it's really important to keep in mind that you're dealing with an industry with many rules, regulations, professionals with a lot of product knowledge and pre-existing beliefs in terms of treatments, products, etc. So in the pharmaceutical industry, they like to use a 6-step process that you'll see is very similar to the type of processes that we've talked about in class thus far. So starting with step number 1, it's your planning process. So this is where you go in and you gather information, you really try and understand the patient needs that the physician is dealing with, the types of drugs prescribed for this type of need, etc., so that you can see what type of product you would like to push towards this individual. Second is your discovery phase. So this is where you're gaining the insight of the professional that you're talking to. You want to understand where they stand in terms of their beliefs of treatment, what they've done in the past, what they know about possible treatments, products, etc., just so that you really can gauge the type of individual's knowledge that you're dealing with during your meeting. Number 3 is where you share your information. So you're dealing with professionals with a lot of knowledge. They understand medicine and pharmaceutical products way more than you do, so it's very important to keep integrity in mind. Do not lie to them about anything, do not try and be wishy-washy, do not try and trick them. They will see right through that immediately. So use hard-hitting scientific facts, research facts that they can really understand and buy into your product, because that's really what you're trying to do at this point, is get them to buy into your product. Number 4 is your response stage. So after you spill all this information on them, they're going to come back with a million questions about your product. And again, it is really important to keep integrity in mind here because, like I said, they are the professionals who know way more than you do at this point. So it's really important to keep those responses with scientific backup to really get them to buy into your product even more. Number 5 is your agreement stage. So this is where you really want to verbally understand that they know what product you are pushing towards them, what it has to offer, its possibilities, and that you understand where they stand in terms of their thoughts about what you're offering to them and where they may stand in terms of making a sale. So this is an interesting step because it does really occur all throughout the whole process. You'll understand where they stand in terms of if they agree with what you have or not. But it's really important at this stage to make that verbal agreement. And lastly is your commitment stage. So in the pharmaceutical industry, it's common that physicians will take their time, gather the information, do their own tests, research, etc., to further their knowledge before they commit to a final sale. So it depends on the product, but it's not rare to see a length of time between the educational phase and the final sale.
Through our interviews and also our primary research, we have found that the 3 main takeaways for this healthcare, specifically pharmaceutical sales industry, is ethics, integrity, and honesty. In terms of ethics, it's all about keeping doctors up to date on any new developments on your drug, whether it's good or bad. The industry has a code of ethics, which most firms are involved in, called the RX&D Code of Ethical Practices. Ethical practices keep the trust level between companies, doctors, patients, and the government strong, which is absolutely paramount in this industry. Integrity and honesty must be present in all steps of the buying process. A customer base is extremely interconnected, and it can easily find out if a claim has been false. A false claim by a salesperson can prove detrimental and discredit the salesperson and also the firm that they are representing, proposing a lose-lose situation. PSRs must understand that they are part of the healthcare industry and their primary concern is providing care to all those involved. This cannot be accomplished through false claims or by hiding facts. Building a relationship with doctors is built on trust, integrity, and essential to long-term success of the industry.
Further study is mainly focused around changing prescription trends among doctors and how it affects the certain drugs that a company may offer. On top of that, new products are always being introduced to the market, so there is a need for further information and data that can be forwarded to doctors to keep them updated. On top of these resources, keeping up with the code of ethics and government legislation is essential.
So Kelly, do doctors actually sign the deal?
Well, the short answer to this is no. Physicians are not allowed to sign on to exclusivity with one company, but their prescription preferences can be influenced by PSRs. A deal usually includes a verbal agreement to try a new product or to continue use of a product already on the market. A sales rep can analyze prescription patterns to ensure that the verbal deal has actually made a difference.
So where does the selling actually take place?
Well, selling no longer takes place in a doctor's office. It's through information sessions, which are part of the continuing medical education process for physicians in Canada. This ensures that all sales are based on proper studies and information, and that all data is presented in a non-biased way, which usually includes an industry expert's approval or endorsement of a product.
Do PSRs only have to be familiar with the brand to be able to do their job effectively?
Well, the knowledge required by a PSR extends far beyond just the brand of the drug that they represent. They must understand the behavior of the doctor, the behavior of the patient, and be aware of all the influencers within the entire physician community, such as medical service liaisons and established relationship representatives. In detailing a brand, PSRs must also be able to identify patients best served by the drug, ensuring that the patients will understand the importance of taking the drug exactly as prescribed. Some reps even coordinate programs and solutions for patient assistance and even offer medical staff education.